And now let me proceed to the laudations. May I invite you, Benjamin Millepied, to come up to the podium to receive your honorary doctorate. Maybe you want to stand here. Yeah. Benjamin Millepied, what makes your choreography so compelling is that it is both technically brilliant and emotionally resonant, that it is at once of one country and of all countries, that it crosses all sorts of generic borders, while you, like the chameleon that you are, figure within it as a dancer, a choreographer, an actor, a director, a videographer, a metteur en scène, an entrepreneur, a fundraiser, and indeed now artistic director. Like our students at the American University of Paris, you are bilingual and bicultural. And you've been a global explorer from the earliest age, having been born in Bordeaux, but raised in Dakar at the knee of a mother who taught modern and African dance. By the age of 13, you were back in France at the Conservatoire National de Lyon. A few years later, you were studying at the School of American Ballet in New York. By your mid-20s, you were a principal dancer with the New York City Ballet and a protege of Jerome Robbins. That early crossing of borders has given you unparalleled freedom to work both within and outside the conventions of dance. In your own words, it made you fluent in both the time-honored French cultural traditions and American innovation. No surprise, then, that you would be named in 2014 Director of Dance of the Paris Opera Ballet. The only surprise will be what you unfold for us next season in your first official season. Benjamin Millepied, we salute your extraordinary métissage of classical ballet, modern dance, video and film, high and low genre, percussion, traditional and experimental music, and sometimes absence of any music, untraditional use of public spaces, and explorations across multimedia. For dance, indeed much of your own, provides a compelling means of examining some of the most pressing issues of our time. It permits us to perceive in the bodies of dancers the conflicts, the resolutions, the pairings and unpairings that characterize not just individuals in our age, but also couples and communities and nations. In the exposed and vulnerable work of dancers, we see in flesh and bone how we struggle isometrically and often ennoblingly against our own limitations as human beings. While dance is almost always culturally inflected, it's also the most universal and, in a way, the most democratic of all art forms. It can be seen, indeed practiced, as is your own, across all cultures. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the American University of Paris, and with the recommendation of the faculty voting in assembly, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. As you accept this degree and hood, I welcome you to the American University of Paris community. Can you get the other one off? Maybe you can get this one. Did you say a few words? I'll send it to you.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great honor to receive this honorary degree, especially from the prestigious American University in Paris. Like many of you, I am also a global traveler. I was born here, raised in Senegal until age 5, educated in France until I moved to New York at age 16 to pursue my dream of becoming a star dancer with the New York City Ballet. Now 37, I was recently invited back to run the Paris Opera Ballet. When I started ballet at age 11, my asset was my background in Africa. There, as a child, I learned that dancing was a pure expression of life, as natural as walking. There, dance is not something you're forced into. It is alive all around you. In my dancing, I never lost the feeling of freedom and movement I had to naturally embrace living in Senegal. My approach to ballet was forever changed and different from my peers. In France, I was lucky to attend a good dance school in Lyon, the Conservatoire Supérieur. More important than the quality of my dance teachers was the school's commitment to making sure we were educated in music and arts. They never hesitated to put us on a bus to visit a worthy exhibition. By the time I arrived in New York at 16, I was ready to soak it all in. Opera, theater, cinema, dance, and dance of all kinds. I had the advantage of my education, somehow always pushing me to be more receptive, more curious. I knew learning was an advantage. I met Jerome Robbins at 16. the famous choreographer of West Side Story. I danced in his last 4 ballets. He too stated the importance of exposure. Jerry never missed the opportunity to attending an important show in New York or reading a good book. I was so lucky to pursue ballet in America. It is mostly there that ballet's best tradition has existed for the last 70 years. As Europe forgot its own history and some of the best artists immigrated to America, where they were allowed to create and give life to new ideas and new projects. Here, ballet institutions got carried away changing work rules, adding performances, theaters, forgetting what is at the core of the profession they invented, and how to keep it alive and special. Essentially, ballet here somehow lost its own historical understanding, its knowledge of craft, its relationship to music. Being a choreographer is like being a watchmaker, a composer, an architect. You need an enormous technique, an understanding of time and space, style, and the most interesting dancers and human beings who will inspire you to create ballets, making an important imprint of our times. Strangely, unlike Europe, there is no government funding for the arts in America. As I danced between 1995 and 2011 in New York, I watched our audience decline and understood further the depressing path for the arts in America. At least in dance, the elite supports the arts, but mostly the elite is given the chance of a career. France is by far the country most in support of the arts. In fact, there is no equivalent anywhere. Only bureaucracy, political choices versus intelligent choices hurt France from being the global leader in arts innovation, especially dance. The country is sometimes more conservative than it believes. Running the Paris Opera for the last 7 months, I've had to deal with events such as watching 2 of our 4 black dancers out of a company of 154 dancers dancing in the core of the ballet of Swan Lake come out on stage as white swans painted white from head to toe. I've had to explain why it was important that they be themselves on stage and that we did not paint the black swans black and such and such. This is the sort of conversations that I've had to have in the last 8 months. Without diversity on stage, how can we expect diversity in our audience? Today, I'm learning to run a large, complex, bureaucratic arts institution in France, requiring all my energy. I attempt to turn a 350 years old organization with laws going as far as Louis XIV into a modern, bright, and alive company. In an ever-changing world, it is important to question how live performance will survive, how the audience will keep attending, how the flow of funding will continue and allow us to keep inspiring, challenging generations to come. At the heart of every art institution today should be first and foremost a strong social program. It is no longer possible to create an arts institution without this component. Recently, a member of the Facebook Foundation said to me, this is the difference between a nice-to-have and a must-have. Our ballet companies and orchestras should represent our society. Such programs can help embrace our neighborhoods, give all kids equal chances. The arts are the powerful way to sensitize human beings. Dance and music are universal. All cultures understand it. The arts can entertain, but more important, give a profound understanding of who we are. The works of our time will give future generations clues to our future. Thinking about America, I hope to see new institutions in the near future. New times need new ideas. Old institutions are too set in ways, making it sometimes nearly impossible to modernize. The future could be bright, but we need projects in sync with our times, new ways of experiencing the arts, a larger reach, a smart digital reach, which will only encourage audiences to experience live performance, new venues, more collaborations, more dialogues, and new ways to found one of our civilization's most important treasures. We need you. Thank you.